Ah, that film look. Everybody likes that film look, but how do you get it? Well, it takes a lot of things to get that look. The most prominent being oodles of money. Even if you don't have oodles and oodles of money, you can still get this look. And I'm gonna show you how to get started. Hi, welcome to Let's Create Something. Today we're going to be talking about how to get that cinema look. Now, like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of things that contribute to that cinema look. You know, there's lighting, there's camera angles, and most importantly, color grading. But today we're going to be talking about the first step into getting that cinema look, which is getting your camera settings right. All higher grade cameras like DSLRs or little cams have some form of like overlaying, you know, like some call it like picture styles or like cam styles, and they come in like different ranges, but you can always like mess with the little, you know, different aspects like contrast and sharpness and all that. So you want to put those in the right order so it sets you on the right path to getting that, you know, cinema look. Now, like I said, most cameras have them. However, they're mostly the same. However, the language that they use or like the title that they're under for every camera is probably going to be different. So I'm going to show you how to do it on my Canon 70D as well as my Sony A6000. So here we go. Alright, so I'm first going to start with the Canon 70D, and with this there's a Q on the camera, but there's also a Q button right here on the screen, so I'm going to click that, and right here, right below the white balance, you're going to see picture styles, and that's what we want because that's how we're going to change things. Now there's the 1, 2, and 3, which are, you know, user defaults that we can set, but there's also a whole bunch of, you know, preset ones that you can play around with later and check those out. But for what we want, we're going to do with these 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go to the first one, and then I'm going to hit Info, and that'll bring up all this where you can see all the things you can change. So there's sharpness, which makes it softer, there's contrast, there's saturation, and then there's color tone. Now for the sharpness, which makes it kind of soft and hazy, I usually put it at 3 or sometimes 2, you know, 2 or 3. It depends. I usually do 3, but I'll leave it at 2. And then contrast, I always go down -2. You want to bring that down to 2, and the same with the saturation. You go down -2. You can go 3, but I usually just do 2. And color tone, you know, you can mess around with this, but for the most part I don't, because I do the tone of it in my editing with color grading. So I just usually leave that at 0. But what you really want is the saturation to be -2. You want the contrast to be -2, and then the softness or sharpness, you usually want it at a 2, but you know what? I usually do a 3, so I'm going to do a 3. That's how I usually do it. 3, -2, -2. That's what I do. And you can go back, and now that's, you know, that's set. That's part of your thing. So if I go back, it's always, it saves it. It's right there. And you can go and you can try other stuff. Like you can have, obviously that's why they give you more default. So look, see, this one's already at, you know, 3 softness, and none of the other ones are, you know, messed around with. So you can go play around with all these, and once you find settings that you like, you just save them, you know, whatever they may be, and your camera will just automatically save them for you, and you can just switch in between them. So I'm gonna go back, and there you go. Go back to the first one, which is this, and like I said, what you really want to do is the 3, -2, -2, and leave color tone by itself. And you go back, and you're ready to shoot your bottles in the window, I guess. But there you go. Alright, so for the Sony A6000, you're going to want to go ahead and hit this little FN button right here, this right here, and a little menu pop up, and then you're going to want to scroll through until you reach here, which is creative style here. And you click it, and you'll see there's a whole bunch of things you can scroll through that, like the other one, that have presets, and all these you can even adjust. See, there's these little things right here. But just like before, you can choose a whole bunch of pre-made ones, but if you keep going down, 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 down to the bottom, you'll see the ones with little numbers next to them, and those are like the ones before where you can preset them. And I think in this camera it gives you 6 instead of 3. Yeah, it gives you 6, which is pretty crazy. So just like before, I'll go to the first one, and I'll click it over, and then you can change this too right here. See, it's in standard, but you can go through all that other stuff, so you can completely customize this. But I'll go to standard, and then there you go, there's contrast again, so I'm going to again put that down to -2. It can go down to 3, but -2 is what you want. Saturation, same thing, you want it at -2, and then the sharpness, again, I'm going to bring it down, or the softness, and there you go. And you can go over and go back and set more presets if you want. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that. And you go back and you can set more just like before. You can, you know, play around with it. You can go in here and maybe you like, you know, you don't want to use standard. You want to use something like, you know, neutral. And then you can go ahead and play with the settings. So it's pretty crazy. This camera gives you like, you know, a broad range of things to do, which is pretty fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the standard, the one I want, and I'm gonna click on it. And so now my camera is in that mode. And if you go back to the FN, you can see right here, it tells you right there, -2, -2, -3 in standard mode. So you can see it without actually having to go in it. But if we go in it, we can see everything's all good. And you're ready to go. Record those bottles again in that window. You may not be able to see the difference between like a camera, you know, filming through the little LED screen, but it does make a subtle difference, and it does kind of add that fadedness, that little like haze that makes it look more filmy. But what it really does is sets you up for color grading, and color grading is what changes everything. That's what I'm doing right now. I do that for every video. Like here, I'll turn it off. And then I'll turn it back on. Now for this, I kind of go a little overboard for color grading because this is like an art channel, so I can go like crazy. Like, I don't know if you notice, but sometimes it'll be like really purpley or like blue or like super yellow, because I can just do that because of that. But a big part of getting that cinema look is the color grading. So this, setting your camera to these settings helps you, you know, get ready for that in editing. So really color grading is where you take this to the next step after filming, you know, with your camera settings this way. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that in another video, probably next week. So look forward to that. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. If you have time, please check out my other channel, Beast Puff. And yeah, if you have a camera, you know, play with those settings. That's what I do all the time. Sometimes I'll just film stuff and see how they look. So you just gotta play around and find out what you like. So go create something. And yes, filming is creating something, obviously.